Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. You always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause of sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
To hear this, but let me put this out here. Stop sparing folks. Hello, somebody. Stop sparing folks. Nobody cared when your feelings was hurt. Nobody cared when you was pacing the floor. Nobody cared when you was sliding down the wall. Nobody cared when you was standing over there with a face full of tears. You had to suck it up, buttercup. But then when it come to other folk feelings, here you are, want to tiptoe around it, want to avoid the elephant in the room. I don't want to upset anybody. I don't want to disturb the peace. Stop sparing folk. Ain't nobody spare you when it was your turn. Give it to them real. Give it to them raw. Give it to them uncut and uncensored. This is exactly what it is. This way you had me messed up at. Yeah. I ain't playing with nobody this season, baby. I'm going to say this right here, baby, because some of y'all be acting like y'all don't be seeing it. But, baby, playing victim in a situation that you created, oh, yeah, baby, that's narcissistic as hell to me. Hello, somebody. How you going to create the storm, then get mad when it rains? How you hurt somebody and then get mad that they hurt? How you damage somebody, go outside your way to destroy a person and then get mad when they no longer want to deal with you? Baby, playing a victim in a situation that you created, oh, baby, that's narcissistic as hell to me. I'm sorry, but it is.
If you shave your cooch, but not your booty hole, is that the same as a mullet?
My tongue out her ass and left. I'm on TV. Oh shit! First cops, now this. Oh.
Yell at me for screaming with the bullhorn in my hand first thing in the morning. Good morning, my beautiful people. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club as we cover true crime. Happy hump day. You've made it to the hump. I know. It's awful. We don't even want to think about the work week.
Shut up!
It's nice to see you, the real me too. Bullhorn Betty is present. Angel Mom is up in the house. Our beautiful Sword of Mortar, Crazy Cat Lady. It's nice to see you, Andrea. Brenda, our beautiful Melanie is up in the house. You can't see me. I can see you. Reminding us, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button on the way in. Eeyore Blue, nice to see you. Good morning, Alston. Busy Mama up in the house today. Sheena, good morning. Outer Banks, Dawn, it's nice to see you. Me and you. Donna, it's nice to see you as well. Our beautiful Southern Grammy Crochets up in the house. Rusty Pipes, I have it too. My pipes are rusty. Let's give them a tune. Hello. Yeah, they're a little rusty. They're a little rusty. We're not prepared to sing happy birthday today, that's for sure. Phil, it's nice to see you. The Dirty Scoop. Look who it is. Mr. and Mrs. Car Guy. Big hug and kiss to you guys. I hope you guys are doing well. Speech? I don't know. It's nice to see you. Michelle, good morning. Denise, it's nice to see you as well. Sadie from across the pond. It's nice to see, actually, probably our northern border. Is that northern? No, it's across the pond. You're across the pond. Nice to see you, Joanne. Island Girl Diana, hello, good morning. V-Daz, it's nice to see you. Who else do we have up in here? Kendra, good morning. DNA is up in the house. Aletha, it's nice to see you, love. Anna, good morning. Dawn, who else do we have? One sock, Candy NC, it's nice to see you. Starflower, good morning. Canadian True Crime, nice to see you. Welcome aboard. Robin, good morning. It's nice to see you as well. Christy, God, hear our prayers. Please bring this young man home. No matter the circumstances, he needs to be home with his family with all things. With you, all things are possible. That's so pretty. Thank you so much, Christy. I appreciate that. Anyone disgusting human? Yes, we did run the story yesterday, but we are going to dive into it a little bit deeper. Just stay tuned. It's going to be closer. We're going to go through a few other stories that I think are important to the audience, and then we'll jump right in. So I would say the first part's going to be about, 45 minutes or so. And then we'll jump into the topic of conversation. Hope Floats, Groovy Gal, it's nice to see you. Oh, look who it is. Well, good morning, love bugs. It's nice to see you this morning. Rena, it's nice to see you. Katie, Pussy Willow Pendercat, good morning, love bug. I hope you're doing well. Carla, Just Steph, it's nice to see you. VA, oh, look what we got. Miss Robin up in the house. Good morning. Thank you so very much. Who else do we have here? Mag is up in the house. Stillwater, it's nice to see you. Teresa, Truth to Light. Love that. That's what we're seeking here. Amanda, good morning. I think we've just gone through just about everybody so far. Mary, good morning. It's nice to see you. Bobby, Tear Bearer, it's nice to see you. Jay Zolly. Archaholic, I guess I didn't go through all of them. I see you guys. I see you. MTB, it's nice to see you, love. Judy, good morning. Paula, good morning. Texas Cowgirl up. Joanne, Saucy, Lisa, Paula. Wow, I missed a lot. Nice to see you all. Zipper, good morning. Dynamic 4DC, it's nice to see you. Monica Fox, good morning, love. Governor Pincus, it's nice to have you. Dee's Mystery Obsessed, it's nice to have you as well. Good morning, good morning. Well, good morning, everyone. If I missed you, I am so. I see Mally Cat. Who else do I just saw? Some Death Wave, it's nice to see you. I think Patty, good morning. Just trying to see if there's anybody else I'm missing. Oh, thank you, Robin. Robin just gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, don't forget to tell Robin thank you and welcome to this crazy crew we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. If there's not enough cray in your life, consider the crazy crew we call the Coffee Club. Become a family member. Become part of the solution instead of part of the problem. It's nice to see you all here today. So we've got a lot of cases kind of to go over. I've got it kind of down to 5 cases this morning, and they are quite concerning. I was quite shocked to see all the craziness going on in our world, which it does come in spikes. I was very impressed. We didn't have a whole lot of jaw-dropping moments around the holidays. Typically around the holidays is when we start hearing about children that haven't been heard or seen from in a significant amount of time. All of a sudden, we have a lot of outpour of missing children that are reported in right before the holidays. I didn't see any major cases like that happen. So it's been good. You know, I'm happy to hear it. One of two things is happening. Either local law enforcement is withholding information out to the public, or thank you, Governor Pincus. God bless you. God bless you. And it's one of the things where, you know, obviously it could be law enforcement withholding information and stories, because even a few of the stories that we're hearing from and hearing about, including the man that I ran a story on yesterday that was missing from my backyard. His name was Stephen Casper. They did find his vehicle, and it didn't sound like he was inside the vehicle, but I did read a post from his son, and it looks like he was found inside of his vehicle, inside that conversion van that he was living in at Linger Lodge Campground. We don't know what happened, but the son was very appreciative that the We Are the Essentials came in and helped locate his father. It takes all hands on deck. I wish I would have heard about this case before I did. I don't watch local news here. I don't watch a whole lot of TV. The only time the TV's on is just when I need some noise around here, so it's not so quiet. And I miss a lot of the local news for my own local backyard. And this is something that popped up in one of my feeds, and somebody had sent it to me. And so I looked into it, and it's just a sad case. And it sounds like a great father lost his life, might have been a medical situation. If he was not in his vehicle, I was absolutely going to be screaming foul play. And it started seeming like it was foul play, especially with the location of the vehicle and nobody saying that there was any type of remains or anything inside that vehicle. But it sounds like there may have been. Before we get started this morning, I wanted to read The Language of Letting Go. We kind of bounce between this. We used to be religious about reading it every day. I don't know why. I forget, but maybe it's because there's certain things in here that we must see. Today's one of those things. And I read it for today, the meditation for today, and it resonated with me. And so it might resonate with some of the people in the chat. And it's talking about for February 12th, starting over. How many times do we have to start over? How many changes in our life signal a major ending or beginning? Death, birth, graduation, marriage, divorce, moving to a new home, getting sober, losing a job, or beginning a new career. We look around and think, here we go. I'm starting over again. Sometimes we don't catch on at first. Sometimes we just feel like day after day of the same old thing as the old fades away and the new begins. Sometimes we feel like our lives have just stopped. Whether we believe it or not, when one cycle ends, a new one begins. If life as you know it is disappearing, it may be time to let go. Even if you can't see it now, and you probably can't, a new life will begin fading in to take its place. You and your life are being transformed. How many times do we need to start over? As many times as life as we know it ends. So say, woohoo! To you being born again. God, help me trust the new life that awaits me if life as I know it is fading away. Give me the patience and the trust to sink joyfully into the void. So I don't know how many times we have looked around and said, you know, I feel like I'm at square one, right? I feel like I'm at square one again. But there's a lot of things that go on in our lives on a daily basis that probably aren't the best for us. Toxic relationships, toxic people, a boss that takes you for granted, unappreciative. Maybe you just made a mistake, or, you know, the business isn't going well and you're laid off. Whenever one door opens, if you put good vibes out there, a new one, a more promising door, in my opinion, always opens up. I've always, for a long time, have known, and I don't know if it's just the comfort, but I've always believed when one door opens, another one bigger and brighter, or one door closes, another one bigger and brighter opens up. And I've lived my life at least several years with that philosophy, and it does help. It really does help. There's nothing that's going to take the stress of life away from anybody. We all have stresses in lives. We all have failures in lives. We have glaring imperfections. You know, we aren't perfect people, and we're made to try to live a perfect life and be a perfect person, which in my opinion is seeking the impossible, right? We just do the best we can and pray to God that it's good enough. And sometimes it's just not, and it's out of our control. So instead of being upset and trying to hold on to what's being taken away, what's being ripped from us, instead of looking at it like of a loss, look at it as a step into a different path, right? It's time for a change. Even when you don't want to give it up because you're comfortable, right? Nobody likes change. Sometimes change is forced upon us. And sometimes it's forced upon us because we chose not to take the step to change it ourselves. And God's like, no, you're still not going the right way. Here, let me just end this. Boom. It's done. Now move. Get on your path. Get on the right path. So sometimes you need that, and you don't even realize that. You don't realize how toxic your job is until you no longer have your job and you are relieved from not having your job. You're scared because you don't have that income coming in. But good gracious, you were treated like pure crap at work. How much more should you have endured? Right? How much more? But you're loyal. So you're going to truck right through it. You're not getting off the boat when you need to get off the boat. So sometimes God corrects the situation. Don't be melancholy over it. Find ways to let go and let God. If it's in your control, it's something that you're doing, make changes, right? Make changes. So you have to guide yourself. We're going to be dropping into a case that really does bother me. I was going to talk about it yesterday. We kind of glossed over it. And I wanted to touch base with it today because it's so problematic for me. You know, we have our children, and this isn't definitely a bad part of the area that this story is coming out of. But it's still very scary because we have our children committing some brutal crimes. And that has always been problematic to me because their life is ruined before it began. You usually don't have young children, 11, 12, 13 years old, doing horrible crimes unless they come from a really rotten home where that's what they're taught. I'm sorry, I just believe it. I'm sure there is an outlier out there where the parents are just wonderful, wonderful parents and their child is just misguided. Okay, I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the ones that have the drug addicted parents, that have the SA, the abuse, all these things in their home. And they create some very toxic and very sick children from those environments. Not that they're, and it's not fair. I'm kind of split on this because I feel like the children aren't bad children. They've done bad things, but they didn't know better. At the end of the day, once they cross the line, what do? You know, once they're able to do that, will they ever stop? Especially when it comes to, you know, SA or other types of abuses, you know, that go on, such as HT, ST, all these different things. This is a story of a 13-year-old boy breaking into homes over 11 to assault young girls. When I hear stuff like this, just like whenever I hear a child 11 or 12, you know, being pregnant, the first thing I think of is SA in the home, period. Because normal 11 and 12-year-olds aren't thinking of those types of things. I would have an 11-year-old, 12-year-old. Yeah, I had crushes on boys, but anything other than a peck on the lips or a peck on the cheek, forget it. You know, I never thought of anything other than that, right? That's dating. That's dating, right? To a young kid. That's dating. A little peck on the cheek and a little, oh, I love you. I love you. You know what I'm talking about. You all had that. You know what I'm talking about. Mine was Backstreet Boys, okay? I won't lie. I was in love with Joey, okay? The little one. He was cute. All right. I kissed his poster every night. I thought that was being in a relationship. I never knew about the other stuff, the birds and the bees and the, you know, all that stuff. I wasn't thinking about that. So when I hear these young children pregnant, obviously I'm thinking that there's something going on in the house, and law enforcement should be too, because children just don't normally act like that unless there's a reason. So this is going to be kind of, a little off-putting for those that have young children, but I think it's important that we understand what happened here. A 13-year-old boy has been accused of committing 11 break-ins targeting young girls in Michigan, according to the Oakland County Sheriff's Office. The incident occurred in Pontiac and Detroit, with the most recent on February 4th, when the suspect allegedly entered a home through an unlocked window wearing a ski mask, armed with a knife. The suspect reportedly choked a sleeping 10-year-old who screams and alerted her mother. The mother saw the suspect fleeing the scene. Why I have problems with this is this boy is 13 years old. 13 years old. And committing these things. Ski mask, knife. He's probably already injured some kids. We have a serial unaliver in the making here. And I hope law enforcement takes it as such. And like I said, I truly feel that these young children, a lot of this may have come from their own home. That doesn't mean that's a broad brush being painted to every person. But how does parents not know where their 13-year-old child is? That's number one, right? That's number one. This tells me that parents probably aren't watching their child. You should throw in Detroit. We all know that Detroit can be problematic. There are some good areas in there and some bad areas, but the bad areas are really, really bad. Filled with drugs, gangs, pimps, hoes, you name it, it's there. So this child, 13-year-old, is breaking into 10-year-olds' bedrooms with a ski mask and a knife, jumping on top of them to choke them. He wanted to feel what it was to unalive somebody. That to me means this child doesn't get a free pass. This child here, I don't know what is wrong with him. But I hope he is, as unfortunate as it sounds and probably as brutal as it sounds, I hope he's charged as an adult and has to do real time behind bars because of his age. He's already going to be out and free at some point. And that scares me because these type of compulsions in my understanding does not change. It doesn't change. So he's got some brutal stuff already at the age of 13. Good gracious. Let's finish this article and we'll move on. Sheriff Michael Bouchard described the situation as a worst nightmare for parents, emphasizing the emotional trauma inflicted on the victims. The break-in began 2 years ago. I want you guys to understand this. This child was 11 years old, 10 to 11 years old when the break-ins began. And the teenager was apprehended last Thursday, February 6th. The suspect's parents have been cooperative with the investigation, but the specific charges against the boy remain unclear. The teenager is currently in custody and is scheduled to appear in court on February 21st. I'm sorry, your child is out committing crimes? Why weren't you watching your child? I don't care how cooperative a parent is. This is negligence. This is their child that they're responsible for. They should be in jail too. Arrest the mom and dad. Because when you start arresting the parents, it's funny how quickly the news starts getting around on the streets and how parents start making sure their kids are known where they're at. When you start throwing the parents in jail and parents know, hey, your kid commits a crime, you're going to jail. You're responsible for an underage child, fully responsible. They kill somebody, you're financially responsible, right? They take a car, they go joyriding. Parents are responsible, financially and otherwise. It's time when these horrendous crimes happen, because let's face it, what could a parent do? A parent knows that they have an unruly child. What can they do? Get their child help. Get their child into counseling. And if you can't control it, get them into a facility that can start helping them. But that's your responsibility as a parent. And so if parents are failing to do the necessary steps to protect not only their children, but also the community at large, they should be on the hook as well. It shouldn't be about whether they've locked their gun up well or not. This child's breaking into houses at night. Where is the parent? Where are the parents making sure their child is in there? Where is the proactiveness of making sure that they have their child? They are parent, right? They can if they have a problematic child, they don't have to call law enforcement to put a tracker on their leg. They can do that themselves. They can do that themselves. There's no excuse why 13-year-old boys are breaking into the house and have been breaking into houses since they were 10 or 11 years old, strangling little girls. Don't tell me these parents didn't know something was going on with their child. I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. All right, guys, we have a dangerous double murder suspect from New York here in Florida, in Volusia County. I was actually going to go over there, but I decided maybe it's a little too hot in the kitchen for a little bit of Bullhorn Betty, because we have a double homicider running loose that is armed and dangerous. And I don't think this is going to be anything here. I got another one up. Hold on. Where is it? Is it this one? Yeah, this is the one I wanted to play. I have one. Why is this on? Sorry, guys. Don't listen to that. I don't know why this stuff shouldn't be this. It was a freaking news article. Let me refresh. It was a news article about this situation. Oh, no, it wasn't. Was that the... Yes, this is. I don't know why it does that, but it does. We'll have a commercial and then it'll get started. Give it just a second. Everything's freaking going cray-cray here. Okay, I'm over this. I hate these things here. We'll get to a video of him. I've got a video. I watched it this morning. Anyways, there's a guy that's out there. It's this guy right here. He was at a home in New York, and he unalived 2 men inside that home and then took off in one of their vehicles and made it to Florida, to Volusia County. They found the vehicle in Volusia County, and now there's an all-out manhunt for this armed and dangerous man that has committed already a double homicide in New York. So Volusia County says, do not approach this man at all. If you see him, do not approach him. Volusia deputies are actively looking for a suspect in a double homicide in Binghamton, I can't pronounce that word, New York. The department announced Tuesday afternoon, Scott C. Mitchell, 50 years old, should be considered armed and dangerous, the Volusia County Sheriff's Office said. The vehicle Mitchell was driving has been recovered, and he is believed to be on foot, possibly in West DeLand area. A gray Chevy Impala linked to Mitchell was found in Dorcher County, South Carolina, over the weekend. Anyone is asked to call 911 or their emergency, emergency number for law enforcement. I just lost my audio. Thank you, StreamYard, once again for making our streaming show so great. I got nobody to blame at this point but myself, because I should have been off this app. Okay, so here we go. I had a video. I don't know where the video is, but I was watching a video that really explained everything. It might be coming up. Authorities are asking anyone that has Mitchell's location to call 911. Where is the damn video? Here it is. Okay, let's watch this one. This will be a lot easier to get a good context of this case. This is from the sister of one of the victims, just to let you know.
Possibly in DeLand.
He's wanted for a double homicide in New York, and deputies are warning people not to approach Mitchell if they see him. West 2's Tony Atkins is live in DeLand tonight, and an active search is still going on. And Tony, you talked with one of the victim's sisters.
Yeah, well, law enforcement, they have been all up and down the I-95 corridor working to track him down. Now, Volusia County deputies, they say they've been responding to tips, but so far nothing has turned up. And as for the two families looking for justice, they say they feel helpless because he's so far away from where this crime happened, and they're hoping that some justice comes soon.
This is 50-year-old Scott Mitchell. The Volusia County Sheriff's Office says he's connected to a double homicide that happened early last week in Binghamton, New York.
Look at his face. Look at his eyes. He looks like I don't know how tall he is, but he looks like a pretty big guy, pretty noticeable. And it's going to be hard to hide that Irish, Scottish appearance of the red beard, the red hair. I mean, he's a very noticeable person. Okay. So if you're in the state of Florida, if you're in the Volusia, DeLand area, please take a look at this man's face. It's super, super important. You know, he has nothing to lose. After looking at the property, you're going to see it. It looks, in my opinion, it's ran down. And since there's a whole bunch of guys living there, it to me just screams there's drugs involved in this case, or definitely some substance or alcohol abuse at minimum.
It's been an absolute nightmare. My life is terrible without my brother in it. He was so much more than my brother. He was my best friend.
Lisa Callahan says her older brother, Marshall Van Oven, was one of 2 men killed and found at this home in Binghamton, New York.
I was supposed to meet him at around 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Monday, the day that he went missing a week ago yesterday. And he wasn't there. And that's just not my brother. And I couldn't get a hold of him. So I reported him missing.
In Florida, deputies found a vehicle connected to Mitchell on Huntoon Road in West DeLand. Their most recent update says...
So remember, they found a car apparently in South Carolina, and they've also found another vehicle in Florida. That's my understanding. Now, are there 2 vehicles? We had reports that a vehicle associated with him was located in South Carolina.
Mitchell was last seen on foot. Now, in between the New York homicides and the search in Florida, another agency, the Dorchester County Sheriff's Office in South Carolina, says it spotted Mitchell this past Saturday. Deputies there say he abandoned another vehicle.
It's just so hard to watch the days go by and not have him be captured yet.
And after so many close calls, Lisa says she's confident deputies will track Mitchell down soon, but she hopes he does the right thing and turn himself in.
Well, the only thing I got to say to the guy is this is the state of Florida. Wrong state to come in, because our officers here, they'll go to the mattress to find a murderer. They will go to the mattress to find a murderer. If he is here in Florida, he will be captured very, very, very soon. That's what I love. There's not a lot of things that I can positively say about Florida all the time. There's a lot of nutbags here in Florida. A lot of the major cases of the 90s and 2000s were all linked to Florida. We are just a state that just has a lot of crap to it. But you know what? We have an amazing law enforcement system here. Not the best in more liberal areas like in Brevard, down south, and the Miami area and stuff like that. You don't really have, you do have good detectives and stuff for homicides, but none that are really proactive or make a big ding in their community. Not like our Grady Judd. There's a lot of good officers here in Florida that stand up to the PC of people. You know, at the end of the day, you commit a crime, you go to jail. That's how Florida works. We don't lollygag on putting handcuffs on people. If we believe somebody committed a crime, especially one against children, we don't let you sit in the comfort of your home and sleep in your comfort of your bed. We'll get you on jaywalking. We'll get you on whatever. We believe in low-hanging fruit here in the state of Florida, and thank God for that. We also were one of the first states that made it a capital crime to R or SA a child under the age of 12. You come here, you screw with our children, we take your life. If that's too brutal, then don't commit crimes in the state of Florida. Because we believe an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth here. So if this man's here, he will be captured. I guarantee that. I guarantee that. So there you have. Now this next case is going to be very, very, very problematic for all of you guys. I just got word, and I looked into this, and it's tearing me up. I will not lie. It's tearing me up. A mom in Wyoming pew-pewed her 4 young girls, called law enforcement, and then turned the pew-pew on herself. 3 of her 4 daughters succumbed to their injuries. The mom succumbed to her injuries. And we have 1 surviving child that's in not so good condition, as you can imagine. The trauma of what she witnessed. I'm not sure what set this mom off to do this. Was it a mental break? Was it their family dynamic falling apart? Honestly, I really just don't know. But every time I deal with family annihilators, it comes down to money. Some of it comes down to money. Some of it comes down to they don't want their children to live with the grief. They're saving their family from the hell of life. You know, there's so many reasons why family annihilators are family annihilators. And that's what I'm going to tag this next case. The mom was a family annihilator. Was there more stuff going on? I don't know. But let me get this up because I need to start clearing some stuff off. I'm starting to get some lag on the computer. So give me just a second. Let me get this pulled up. It's always with these smaller freaking channels that just stack so much freaking advertisements on their page as possible. Wyoming mom unalives or pew-pews 4 daughters, then calls 911 before pew-pewing herself. There's the father. The father was not a part of this. Again, I think that there must have been some type of family separation here. And mom might have been on her own with 4 young children all by herself. We don't know the situation. But clearly the husband was not in the house when this took place. So Wyoming mother who pew-pewed her 4 young daughters, then turned the pew-pew on herself in her Byron home, has succumbed to her own injuries. The Bighorn County, Wyoming Sheriff's Office confirms Tuesday night that Trenielle Harshman died in the hospital from her injuries. 3 of her daughters, 9, 2, and 2, were found deceased following Monday's incident. The 4th daughter, age 7, is being treated in Salt Lake City Hospital, according to family members. A mother unalives herself. Let's just keep reading here. I think this is where, is this the video? Yeah. Okay, let me go back to this one. This looks like the video.
Like Tom, switch to get good coverage and savings free.
I'll wait until it's over. I don't think this is about the outbreak, the measles outbreak. Okay, so I'm not really worried about that. Let's close that one. So she shoots her, the family, there it is. I've got the Facebook page up. So I don't want people yelling at me saying you're showing kids' faces. It's right here on the freaking news. We're going to go through the Facebook
Inflation
group
and
or the
economic
Facebook
uncertainty have affected all
sad.
of us. But if you have a structured settlement,
If you have a structured settlement and want lump sum payment, reach out to JG Wentworth. Come on. I don't know if they realize how annoying this many ads are. Look at this. It's just popping all over the place.
Monday afternoon here in Byron, Wyoming, left an entire community of 600 grieving. It's an event that their mayor says
passion
is one of the
flower.
most tragic things to ever come out of this small community.
Hope and pray that the family can endure and hopefully brighter days ahead.
It was here on the 200th block of Shoshone Avenue where the unimaginable took place.
Nice
It was
house.
approximately 1:30 in the afternoon Monday when 32-year-old Trenielle Harshman called 911 reporting that her 4 children had been shot and were likely dead. On that 911 call, Harshman said 2 of her kids, both 2 years old, were upstairs in their cribs, and the other 2 children were downstairs in their bedroom. Then Harshman said she would shoot herself.
So when you're in a small community like this, you know everyone. You rub shoulders with everyone, and it's just devastating.
First responders arrived and found 2 of the kids, a 2-year-old and a 7-year-old, still alive. but the 2-year-old passed away a short time later. The 7-year-old is now in a Salt Lake City hospital sedated and receiving care. The Bullhorn County Sheriff's Office confirmed that the mother died of her wounds Tuesday afternoon. The tragedy has left the town of Byron grieving. Mayor Alan Clark says his heart goes out to the family and first responders involved.
I don't want to dwell on what's happened. We want to dwell on what's next.
One of Tranielle's former classmates, Sage Myers, says the event was out of character.
Tranielle was a grade ahead of me, and we partied a lot together, and she was just a great person, so nice to everybody. Man, I can't explain how there was no cracks, there was no dings, there's no chips to be seen.
Out of character is another trait
Obviously
described
there
by
are.
one of Tranielle's friends, Brianna Baker, who left MTN a statement saying, quote, "Everything can change in an instant. Never allow yourself to think it couldn't be me. She was sweet, loving, and funny. Use this as an opportunity to show compassion and togetherness." It's a tragic loss with many questions still unanswered. In Byron, Matt Carmack, MTN News.
I'm sorry, but there's nothing positive that I could ever say about a mother that does something like this to their children and their family. Nothing. You know, everybody knows their limits. I have to trust that every person in my chat knows when they're getting to the point that they're about to lose their stuff. And you know what? You leave. You walk away. You find ways to decompress, or if you can't, and it's just you're obsessing over something, go seek help. Go seek help. For people to think that there was no cracks or things to be seen, clearly there were. Clearly there were. So what does that tell me? She was good at hiding the truth, because she clearly had some major things going on in her life that would make her think that this was the best possible outcome for her and her situation. And now a father is left devastated and now has to take care of a child. And I keep losing my audio, so hopefully we won't have audio on this this page. So when I did my search, her page did come up. And so I was looking through it, and it looks so peaceful where they live. There she is. Somebody in chat just said she's beautiful. She is. She looks like this photo here, you see a very loving mother. What made her break? What made her feel that this was the best solution for her and her family? Was she trying to get back at her ex? Or, you know, like I said, you don't see a whole lot of photos with the children's fathers. But look at that. It's just peaceful and serene. It's hard to be angry in a spot like that. Look at that. A whole family just happy. They all looked happy. They look like a normal American family, growing, thriving, living the rural lifestyle. So what happened? I really don't know. I really don't know what happened. But these children, outside of the 7-year-old child, are all gone. They're all gone. It's sad. There is a fundraiser going on right now for the father. And I wanted to read this to you guys. Tragedy is struck, leaving us shattered and heartbroken. Cliff Harshman, a devoted husband and father of 4 beautiful daughters, has suffered an unimaginable loss, the passing of 3 of his precious girls. One still fighting in Salt Lake. Please pray for her. This devastating event has left Cliff and his loved ones reeling in grief, struggling to come to terms with the immense void left in their lives. The financial burden of funeral expenses, ongoing family support, and other related costs only adds to their pain. As a community, we rally around him to offer love, support, and financial assistance during this darkest of times. Your contribution will help alleviate some of the financial stresses, allowing him to focus on healing, reflection, and cherishing the memories of his dear daughters. Every donation, no matter how big or small, counts. Your kindness, generosity, and prayers are greatly appreciated. If you're unable to contribute financially, please consider sharing this campaign with your network. Rest in peace, sweet angels. You will never be forgotten. That is extremely, it's giving me goosebumps literally all over my arms. It's hard. It's hard to hear of something like this happening, especially in Wyoming. You know, Wyoming's just a nature-loving area. Of course, crime happens in all communities. We can't say, oh, because they have mountains and fresh air, you know, it changes issues. But it does seem to me that she had some type of mental break, and what triggered that mental break. And in that post, he was referred to as the husband, not the ex-husband, not the children's father, but a devoted father and husband. So what happened in their home that would make a mom think that this was the right thing to do? Because I'd have to think in her mind, she was doing this for a purpose. What was that purpose? Was it to truly hurt him? I don't know. All right, guys, we're almost getting there. Where are we on time? I got about 9 minutes, and we're doing great on time. This is a missing person case that somebody in our audience had brought to my attention. It is. I'm going to have to pull this because you're not going to be able to hear. Because thank you, StreamYard, for constantly screwing with my audio and every damn thing I do anymore. I don't understand why. I mean, the lab always has problems, but not like me. I seem to have these audio issues every single day. Every single day. So this is Maria Kraus. She's been missing. Family feels something is not right here. Her car has been found. She has not. We are on the lookout for Maria Kraus.
Last seen yesterday morning. Her car was found later in North Versailles. And now KDK's Jessica Riley is live with an update on the search now. Jessica.
Hey, good afternoon. Yeah, we're here right underneath East Pittsburgh McKeesports Boulevard, where Kraus's vehicle was located yesterday. Now we're down here. Those search efforts are still continuing, and that is near Braddock Avenue in North Versailles. Family posted Kraus's phone was shut off, and a witness reported seeing her walking alongside of the road yesterday shortly after noon. County police, detectives, family, and friends, along with local fire and rescue teams, have been out here all day searching the area and part of the creek that runs through here. Kraus is described as a 5'2" tall and approximately 215 pounds. At the time of her disappearance, family says she was wearing black pants and leggings and a black hoodie. And if anybody has any information, you are encouraged to contact the Allegheny County Police Department's General Investigation Unit. In North Versailles, Jessica Riley, KDKA TV News.
All right. Thank you for that report, Jessica. And we do want to welcome you.
So I wanted to show you that because how I got involved in bringing this case up was somebody sent me this post right here from her brother, and I just wanted to read it, and then we'll get on to the main course of our show today. So this was updated on March 11th, which was just yesterday evening around 8:20 p.m. Thank you all for the overwhelming support and resources made available over the past 24 hours. The number of people who reached out and offered to help us has truly been heartwarming, and my family is deeply grateful. Search efforts have been suspended this evening due to conditions and safety concerns. At this point, we ask that you allow the professionals, authorities to do their work in searching the appropriate areas as they are worried about your safety. Please continue to keep Maria and my family in your thoughts and prayers. If anyone has seen or heard from my sister in the past 12 hours, please contact me or my family. She is missing and was last seen around 12:30 p.m. and assumed to be in danger. If you know or have seen anything, please speak up. Please share. Her car was found on the side of the road in East Pittsburgh, McKeesport Boulevard in North Versailles around 2 p.m. It was facing out of Braddock, headed toward North Versailles Permentis. I can't pronounce these words. Map and pictures white arrows of approximate location. A witness seen her walking along the side of that road toward her car. So she was walking back toward her car around 12:30 p.m. She was wearing black pants / leggings and a black cricket hoodie. Her phone was shut off. It was not dead. So they're saying that it was powered off, which is a little shocking when a person is by themselves. They usually don't turn off their phone. They usually keep it on so they can make calls for assistance. If she had broken down or ran out of gas, she would have called me, my dad, John, or Matt for help. There's absolutely no reason for her to have been walking. Something is not right. So they're saying something is not right. That's his sister. The family is very, very concerned at this point. So if you guys have seen her, Pittsburgh, she's missing, please reach out to local law enforcement. It doesn't matter where you're at. If you ever see any of the victims from our channel, please just call 911. That is the best way you can get immediate help if you see one of our missing people out there somewhere. But if the family says something ain't right, something isn't right. Okay. Family knows their people more than anything. Look at Layla Santanella's mom. She never tried to hide her daughter's proclivities to substances. It was just part of her story. But she was very open and honest with that. You're not hearing that from here. You're hearing that her car, she was walking back toward her car. Why was her car there to begin with? There's a lot of questions that aren't getting a whole lot of answers right now. And if we can try to help fill in the gaps, I use my audience very often to search for people. And if you are in the PA or Pittsburgh area, please be vigilant and be on the lookout for this beautiful lady. Her name's Maria, and her family is desperately trying to find out where she is for her own personal safety, because she's been missing for days and her car was located unoccupied. So it is what it is when it comes to that. So hopefully we can at least advocate for her and help. Thank you guys for allowing me to bend your ear for the first segment of this show. Now we're going to be getting into the meat and potatoes and the topic of conversation for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, the young man that's sitting behind my face right now. He disappeared. He's been gone for almost a year. He disappeared on February 26 when he was only 15 years old. He has since had a 16th birthday that he was not in attendance to. Allegedly, he went home from a great day out. They had just eaten at the Texas Roadhouse. They arrive home. There's evidence that he arrives to the house. I don't know if you guys know that there is evidence that Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers has arrived home the evening of February 26th. Apparently, there was a dash cam that heard his voice as they went into the house. So it has been confirmed that he did make it home that night. For those that believe that he did not make it home that night, apparently there is some evidence that he did. So that you might need to adjust your theory based on the new information. That information actually isn't new. It was brought out. Somebody leaked that information, I don't know, several months ago. And I never ran with it because I really couldn't. And now that it's been widespread, it's out of my control. So we might as well just talk about it. He did arrive home, and there is evidence that he arrived home. So with that being said, now we're dealing with a child that came home. We were told he went straight to his room after, I'm very confused when the whole took the garbage can to the road situation, because it sounds to me like he would have taken that garbage to the road when he arrived home. So we learned that they left the Texas Roadhouse right about 6:25, 6:26 in the evening. It takes 10 to 11 minutes to arrive at home. So you're talking about, I don't know, what would that be? About right before 6:40, they should have been arriving home. So however long it takes, for 11 minutes. So drive home. We didn't learn right away, but it was, I think, the Chronicles of Olivia interview when we heard for the first time that Sebastian had chores, and his chore was to take the garbage to the end of the road. We don't know how true that is. This is the first time we heard about it, and it was almost a month after this child had disappeared. So if you kind of categorize and timeline that statement, it almost implies that as soon as they pulled in, he was made to go take the garbage out to the road. I heard that the garbage was taken out to the road by about 6:45. I don't know where I heard that, but I remember hearing that somewhere. And so my question is, if they're just arriving at 6:40, that means they went into the house and he came right back out, or did he walk out of the garage when they pulled in to take the garbage out? That's where my confusion comes in. Why am I confused about that? Because all the neighbors said that they saw Katie's car go into the garage, but never saw Sebastian at all. So it implies that he got out of the car and went into the home. So at what point did he walk out and take the garbage out? I mean, it's a legitimate question because we're assuming it was him. I'm assuming it was him that took the garbage out because that's what we were made to believe. But is it true? I don't know. I do not believe this child willingly ran away from home. I don't think he is a runaway child. I never really believed this story, especially after hearing the biological father. And this is long before I ever talked to Seth, ever became friends with Seth, ever had any, conversation with the father. I was thinking that the story just didn't seem right. And then when the father came on and started talking about, the shoes doesn't sound right, and he's never ran away from home before, and what reason would he have? It started sinking in very quickly that there's something more going on here. Well, yesterday I ran a story because I was getting, my whole entire email was getting blown up because there had been skeletal remains found. Now, I naturally went on the proactive, offensive type of live because I don't have any information on the remains. And I feel like the remains may not be Sebastian's, but we don't have any, and I mean any information to determine one way or the other. We just have our past experiences. We know that there's been multiple remains found since this case started in Tennessee. We've always been hopeful every time we hear it, and then we find out it's somebody that we didn't even know about missing or deceased, right? So nothing that we have found so far has panned out with remains. So naturally, I'm going to be on the side of caution and saying, let's not put the cart before the horse. It most likely isn't Sebastian because history tells us it's most likely not Sebastian, but we don't know. So we are keeping an eye on this particular case, especially with the limited amount of information. Well, when I brought this case up to the audience, you guys started emailing me articles you found. And one of these articles was really interesting. And it was pointed out by one of our audience members. What does that mean? And honestly, I don't know what it means. So I figured the best thing I can do is put it up on the screen, read it to you guys, and find out what you think happened or what you think this wording means. I have my opinion on what I feel this word may mean, but I want to have your opinion on what this might mean. Okay. So here's the article that was sent to me. Skeletal remains uncovered near Mount Roosevelt Wildlife Area. Cumberland County and TBI launch an investigation. One of the things that are topics that were brought up to me was how quickly TBI was called out to this location. I don't know what's going on with my lag. I've got just about everything off this computer. I don't understand what is going on with my lag. Okay, I got a couple of emails that I'm not going to show, but I will read. So skeletal remains uncovered near Mount Roosevelt Wildlife. Let me just put this on small because it looks like I'm just going to be, you guys aren't going to be able to see my face. It's just making problems here. But here's the word that really has everybody perplexed. One, why was TBI immediately called? Was one of the questions that was asked to me from the audience. And I don't know why they were immediately called. And it's making them kind of have a conspiracy theory that they were called immediately. Why didn't law enforcement just handle the remains themselves and then call TBI later? You know, something like that. I don't know the answer to that. And it's causing people to really be skeptical of these remains. Authorities in Cumberland County are investigating after deputies stumbled upon skeletal. Oh, this is interesting. There's a few things in here. I didn't catch this when I read it because I was focused on another statement in here. But authorities in Cumberland County are investigating after deputies stumble upon skeletal remains earlier this week. I thought it was a resident that called it in. Let's keep reading. Because I read something yesterday that didn't state that deputies stumbled across them. Now, if deputies stumble across them versus a third party, I'm going to question this a little more. Why? Because obviously deputies were searching. So let's just read this. I think this might be, we'll have to read another article because I'm a little unclear on that one. So we'll move past that. The Cumberland County Sheriff's Office told WVLT that the remains were found near Westall Road, close to the entrance of Mount Roosevelt Wildlife Management Area on February 8th. We just learned about this case yesterday. It started making waves yesterday on the 11th, some days after this. Why wasn't there any breaking news coming out for several days before it was finally released to the public, which was yesterday? It was when I first started hearing or reading anything related to these remains. Anyways, the TBI was brought into the case and assisted in recovering the remains for analysis. So they actually came in before the remains were ever even removed from this particular article. An unsettling discovery has prompted an investigation collaboration between the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office and TBI after receiving an early morning report at 7:30 a.m. Saturday. Deputies responded. So it sounds like somebody saw this. Deputies responded to Westall Road as detailed by a statement from WBIR, assessing the scene where the remains, here it is, lazily dangled from their earthly confines. This statement is the statement that is having many people confused. What does that mean? Lazily dangled from the earthly confines. That's what I was saying, Gypsy. I don't know what that means. Does that mean dangled? It seems like up in the air, but from earthly confines almost mean under the earth. Was he partially revealed from maybe a shallow grave? Lazily dangled. I don't know. This is what the member of our audience also said. They're like, what the heck does this mean? Lazily dangled from their earthly confines. And I'm like, I don't know, because the dangling almost implies, in the air, and dangling out, like you're dangling from a tree, right? You're hanging from a tree. So lazily dangled from their earthly confines. And the confines is when you hear confines, you're thinking of box or room, right? I wonder if flooding uncovered them. Great theory, Gypsy. That's what I was thinking as well myself whenever I was reading this. And I focused on that, and I can't for the life of me figure out what that means, because it can be implied in so many different ways. Again, lazily dangled. I feel like we had that one story of Jason. Jason was a teenager from Virginia. He had wrecked a car. He had stolen somebody else's car. It looked like he was on the run, or he was scared and needed, like, somebody was chasing him. But many people believe, they thought he had a mental break from being on Adderall, that he took too much Adderall and may have had a mental break. But when I looked at his autopsy only showed 40 milligrams of the drug in his system. And while, you know, Adderall is what it is, that's the highest dosage that doctors are lawfully allowed to prescribe. So I don't know if that would have, even though he wasn't prescribed that medication, I don't know if it would have been enough to make him flip out. Who knows, you know? But either way, law enforcement quit searching for him because they thought he was he was on the run. So they didn't even bother looking for him. They already had a predetermined outcome for this young man. Come to find out, he was dangling out of a tree. And he dangled out of a tree. He was almost in a full split. It was very hard to see these autopsy photos, I will tell you that. But he was, that case, they believe he did it to himself. And I can't for the life of me figure out how he managed to get upside down in a tree, hanging from a tree so close to the ground where he expires. It doesn't make sense to me. What makes more sense is that he had the crap beat out of him and he was strung up in the tree somehow, or thrown up in the tree somehow. I don't know how, but I don't believe the story that we are meant to believe. And now we're hearing lazily dangled. Like, I'm thinking of Jason's case where he's dangling out of the tree. But then they end it with from their earthly confines. Earth, that's the ground. Confines is, you know, for me, when I hear earthly confines, I'm hearing shallow grave. So I don't know what that word means. You're going to have to kind of decide for yourself. But I feel like I'm going to be wrong if I say a partially uncovered, you know, shallow grave, because I don't know what lazily dangled from their earthly confines means. Either way, let's move past it. So now we have a discovery. Somebody called law enforcement. Law enforcement came out. They have determined that this is human remains. They immediately call TBI. A TBI officer comes out there, or, you know, their forensic people, and they collect all of these human bones, the skeletal bones of a human from an earthly confine, dangling out of an earthly confine. Still don't know what that means. But we don't know if this is a male, female. We don't know if this is a juvenile or an adult or a toddler. We don't know anything about this particular case. And when we're searching Cumberland County, we're not finding any recent missing people that haven't already been located or found, either deceased or well. So because it's skeletal remains, to me, or skeleton investigation, to me implies it's been there for a while. But how long is a while? I really don't know. I've looked back because I know I was involved in the Brian Laundrie case. The Brian Laundrie case, he was bones within 10 days. He was skeletal remains in 10 days. But our weather here was 96 degrees to 100 degree weather. So there was a lot going on. All right, let's see what else we have here. I think it's this article here that's slowing my computer down. So hopefully we'll get past this and can have a chat. So Sheriff Casey Cox expresses the department commitment amidst the community growing concerns. We understand that this news is unsettling for the community, but we are committed to identifying the remains and conducting a thorough investigation into the matter, Cox stated. The identity of the remains and circumstances leading to their discovery remain undisclosed as the investigation continues its early stages. While working carefully through the evidence, Sheriff Koch reiterates the sentiments of providing closure as reported by Waite. We understand that this news is unsettling for our community, but we are committed to identifying the remains and conducting a thorough investigation. The remains have yet to be identified, leaving local residents hoping this incident can soon be laid to rest. So nobody has an idea of who these people could be, or this person could be. I kind of believe that this person is potentially a man, a grown man. I thought maybe it could have been a homeless person that succumbed to the elements of a winter. We've heard of those stories before, especially being out in like a reservation type of thing, a conservation area. It's Mount Vernon wildlife, area. So it's more of a conservation type of area that this was at. And so some people kind of live off the grid and live out in the woods in these conservation areas, maybe elderly with dementia, River states. Yeah, that's a possibility. Hunting incident, possibility. However, dangling out of earthly confines, like it's at the freaking entrance of Mount Vernon or Mount Roosevelt. It's at the entrance of Mount Roosevelt, in dangling out of its earthly confines. It sounds like there's some premeditation to it, though. I feel, because there's skeletal remains. Hear me out. So there's skeletal remains at the entrance of this park, this conservation type of area, this wildlife, area. You would think that somebody would have seen them on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like before they ever got to skeletal remains. I feel like if somebody had a hunting accident right by the entrance, it would have been very noticeable to people coming to that area, including the park rangers and, park and rec that have to do their periodic maintenance, mowing and other things that they have to do. To me, it makes me feel like somebody would have been able to see this human before they got to the skeleton. And because we're dealing with skeletal remains dangling out of earthly confines, it implies in my brain, which I could be, totally off base here. So this is just my opinion based on words, okay? Definitely not fact. It makes me feel like this was somebody that was buried there. And maybe the recent flooding, there's been a lot of flooding in Tennessee that's going on. They just stopped building. They just did a moratorium in Gallatin to stop the building until they can resolve the flooding issues. It's kind of what we're doing here in Manatee County, a lot of water. We're realizing all these buildings and building these huge developments are causing major draining issues and infrastructure problems that aren't that most of these communities aren't accustomed to, because how it works, which has always been asked backwards, and I will be honest with you, they let these developers build hundreds or thousands of homes in a community and then wait until after the fact to build the roads, the sewers, and all that other. Do they have the pipes in? Yes. But they don't have the enough roadway. They don't have enough to handle those additional cars and people moving into that area. A lot of these other communities are being built a little higher up, right? Because of our flood map changes. Well, what is that doing? When you build your house further up, all the houses that were built lower are getting all that drainage from those communities that are built that are elevated up a little bit higher. Yo, mama, it's great to see you. Thank you for becoming the newest member of this crazy crew we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Let me see. I just realized we have, thank you guys. Look at this. Miss Robin, thank you so much. And the gifted Bullhorn Betty membership, Pinkus, Governor Pinkus is thanking. Being thankful. Thank you so much for that. We have Lisanne Lisa Ann, I hope you have a wonderful day too. And we have a new member. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So getting back to the whole remains thing, I mean, we really can't take anything off the table. I'm just going by my gut. I just don't believe this is going to turn out to be Sebastian. I'm praying it's not, but I do believe it was somebody that passed away, most likely under unusual circumstances. And again, it sounds like more is involved than just stumbling across bones laying on top of the ground. If bones are just laying on top of the ground, multiple things can happen, from foul play to medical ailment, and they just expired there and nobody was searching for them. A lot of homeless people, they don't keep in contact with their family. Their family doesn't know where they are. They don't know if they're dead or alive. So nobody's really looking for them. There's a lot of possibilities. And we have several children and missing persons in Tennessee that have never been found. We have Layla Santinello, Holland's Snap. We have Joe Clyde Daniels, baby Joe. And we have Summer Wells. We have Sebastian Rogers. Guys, we have other people that are missing that were never found long before true crime communities ever existed. Earthly confines could refer to being restricted to the earth or bounded area on earth. Yeah. So it doesn't sound, the way it's described is, it doesn't sound like this was just these remains were just laying on top of the ground. It sounds like they were covered up somehow and were just starting to reveal themselves, maybe from wildlife in the area. I know boars, if they smell something underground, they have a way of digging into the ground. Foxes, wolves, a lot of other wildlife out there. If you have a decomposing body, they're going to get to it because that's a source of food. That's a source of food for them. And their noses pick that up from miles away. So if they smell a source for food but can't see the food, they're going to dig. Have you ever seen your dog out in the backyard? Delilah, for example, is over in the neighbor's yard. Glenn and I are watching her digging. We're like, what in the world is she doing? She's going to town in your yard, Glenn. And then all of a sudden she pulls out this dirty, dirt-filled bone, right? She unearthed a bone that had been covered in that yard for God knows how long from his dog, that his dog took the bone and went and hid it. Well, Delilah found it. So I really don't know what that statement means. Lazily dangled out of the earthly confines. But it feels like there's more here. And I keep wondering if it has anything to do with one of the cases we're covering, even if it's not, I just don't, just something in my guts just making me feel this has nothing to do with Sebastian. But again, with the lack of information, I mean, it's hard it not being, in the back of your mind. It's hard not to be in the back of your mind. There was another young girl that went in Hendersonville either yesterday. Let's see. Let me look this up. Oh, I think this is the one I read about this morning. No, it's not. Okay. Because I did read something about a woman being found deceased. If they do have somebody in Hendersonville or in Sumner County, put Sumner County. Maybe I should put Hendersonville, Tennessee. Let me see if Tennessee will work. 4 hours ago, runaway teen, Hendersonville. It was 4 hours ago. Let's just pull this up and get, because I know we got a lot of people from the area in this chat. So give me just a second. Let me get it pulled up real quick. And we'll watch the news here. Okay. You got it, Delilah? Okay, let's get it.
.com alert as breaking overnight, Hendersonville police searching for a runaway teen girl. This is 16-year-old Lavea Nicole Jones. Police say she didn't return home last Friday. She's 5'1", about 190 pounds. Police say she recently dyed her hair red and has green eyes. She was last seen wearing blue jeans, a white coat, and a black backpack. If you see her, you're asked to call Hendersonville Police or Hendersonville Crime Stoppers if you have any information.
All right, so we do have another missing teen out there. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. We definitely would like to advocate for all the safe return of these people because, in Tennessee, we have a lot of unsolved cases in Tennessee. By far, out of all the states and people that I cover, I roll my eyes when I have a case. Oh, thank you, Melanie. A case in Tennessee. One, because I deal with pompous law enforcement. Instead of just putting their ego aside and working toward the discovery of these individuals or any evidence, they want to put up roadblocks because they're too arrogant and they're too busy measuring the size of their own junk than they are actually receiving help. If they change their way of thinking about it, I think it would be a lot more palatable. But they don't want people. They want to solve the case to the case's own detriment. This is and let me tell you, this is across the board in Tennessee. There's very seldom places that I go into Tennessee that I am not dealing with the size of the sheriff's what, okay, or their employees what, because they're so arrogant that they absolutely refuse any type of help. And they will let a case, they don't care. They'll let a case go on for years without being solved because they refuse to ask for help. That to me is law enforcement that needs better training and to be fired. If you can't stand out of your own way, you have no business being in criminal investigations. I'm sorry. It's the way I feel. I don't care as a person if my family member disappeared. I don't give a rat's ass who finds them. But I damn sure don't want people being prevented from helping because I've got a sheriff that's too busy stroking his own what and not wanting help. And I'll solve it. I'll do this. We just don't want the public involved. Meanwhile, years and years and years and years go by without any type of resolution in a lot of these cases in Tennessee. Now, Tennessee is good about finding people that are truly lost. You go to the TBI website, you go to the websites in most of these counties and is truly missing, they will be found. They do have a good track record of finding people that are indeed missing. However, ones purposefully disappeared is where they have their problems. It's these criminal investigations that they don't want help from the FBI, TBI. They just want to sit there. Like, look at Hopkins County. Can't stand that man. I give up on Hopkins County because the citizens there keep voting the same problems back in. To me, that's an oxymoron. At what point do you look at a whole entire community and say, when are you planning on waking up? The status quo is no longer good enough for the people of Tennessee. They deserve better. But the citizens of Tennessee won't stand up and demand better. I'm from Florida, y'all. I have respect until I don't have respect. Right? I'll treat people with respect until I can't treat people with respect. But we see and hear something like this, you bet your butt we're going to be raising our voice and making sure that our polls, our elections are taken care of. We make sure we don't rehire the same problems back in. Do you know for the last 2 years or the last 4 to 6 years of our county commissioner, we're looking for a specific county commission. We haven't found it yet. So every couple years, we fire our entire board, are the ones that are up for election, if they're not performing. You know why? Because we have our pulse to our politics here. If my sheriff wasn't doing his job, he'd be out on his ass. If you see problems, you see corruption in your own community, you don't vote for that corruption back in. You know what you do? You start getting involved. You start finding out other sheriffs that would make a good sheriff, and you start coaching them and working with them and getting them out, getting them door knocking, do city town halls, do some things where people can meet the sheriff or the sheriff to be, the sheriff elect, or whatever you want to call it, and start doing some grassroots efforts to change your situation. To hear Ronnie Lawson is still the sheriff of Hopkins County, like at this point, it's the community. I don't even want to hear people complaining about Ronnie Lawson, because if you're not going to take him off the ballot or you're not going to vote against him, then you're creating your own problem. Ronnie Lawson should have been fired years ago, yet he's still the sheriff of that crap town. And I call it a crap town because Summer Wells is missing and nobody seems to be fighting for her in that actual town. And they keep the same Yahoo that has a pissing contest with everybody still on the hook and on the books. And his name's Sheriff Ronnie Lawson. Don't care for him either. Don't care for his policing. Don't care for his sheriffing. Can't answer a damn question. And damn sure ain't fighting for a little girl that went missing in his community. He makes me sick. Should have been fired a long time ago. So people, if you're in Hopkins County, fire your sheriff. It's time for new blood. It ain't working for y'all anymore. It's time for some new blood up in Hopkins County. We'll see how we feel, about Sumner County after this is all said and done. But you know what? I'm seriously ready to rent this house and start living in Tennessee, because Tennessee needs to be cleaned up. And I can't stand corruption. I can't stand favorism. I can't stand cronyism. I can't stand status quo. I can't stand a lot of this stuff. And I see it over and over. Oh, Justin, it's nice to see you, my love. Tennessee is a strange place with the, yes, it is. Ego. Yes. It's all about the ego there. You ain't going to get shit done with your head bigger than your state. Just saying. But Ronnie Lawson deserves to be fired. He should have been fired years ago. I'm disgusted he's still the sheriff there. But what do you do? What do you do? You can't slap sense into people. If they're going to keep supporting and keep hiring the same exact people that they've had that's given them shit, and they keep getting shit, at what point do they wake up and say, hey, you can vote your way out of this crap if you so chose to, yet you're voting yourself into this crap year after year after year after year? I'm glad it's not your child missing, I bet you'd be voting differently for that sheriff when it's your child. This child's parents didn't give a shit about her. They didn't care. They don't care if she's dead, gone, stolen, kidnapped. They don't care. They just want to get on with their life, much like the Proudfoot family. They don't care what happened. They just want to move on and everybody just to leave them alone. The reason why they keep running away is they don't want, and I'm talking about this boy's mom and stepdad behind me. The reason why they keep running away is they don't want people to realize they're living their best life. They don't want people seeing them out enjoying themselves. That's why they left. They know their whole community knows who they are, and they can't feel comfortable enjoying life now that their son's gone in that community. So what do? They run away from home and they live it up wherever they're at. Pretty sick and twisted, if you ask me. Pretty sick and twisted. Now, we're going to be ending this show now. I will tell you this afternoon about 6. I don't know. Let me look and see. Justin, I don't know what time you're going on, but I'm going to need 2 hours. So I'll be on about 5 p.m. We've got 2 other interviews that I want to go over. This afternoon. And I'm noticing, I'm really focusing in on the dates that Seth and the Proudfoots had interviews on the same date, because I think I like seeing how one family acts opposed to another family. And this one's going to be great because this is when Seth Rogers went on Nancy Grace. And this was on, what date was this? This was on March 20th, right? March 20th. Seth is on Nancy Grace. Guess what happened on March 20th? The Proudfoots were on Smiley Stories World. 2 interviews, both sets of parents, Seth, mom and stepdad, interviewed same day. I would like to hear what the differences in their story is. And so one of the videos is about 44 minutes and the other one is like 3 hours. So I'm not going to focus. I'm going to listen especially to Smiley Stories World because hers is the longest. And I'm going to try to get some bits and pieces out of that one instead of showing the whole interview. I don't think the whole interview is necessary. We have watched it and we will go back and watch the entire Smiley Story World interview in and of itself again, which we've done, I think, at least once or twice on this show so far. But it really is a good interview that garner a lot of real information, not like the crap on Dutch's. Smiley Story World, she was very respectful, but hit them with some tough questions. We all know that law enforcement has not advised them not to say anything. So all of that time you heard Chris saying, law enforcement told me not to say this, not to say that. That was all lies. I wouldn't say all lies because we do know that sometimes law enforcement asks them to keep stuff to themselves, even when they tell them, whether they admit it or not. I know that from my own personal experience. Even in this county, like I was, somebody put a post on my Facebook group post. I turned that over to, this is back when Major Tim Bailey was there, and Tim Bailey asked me to remove it from my channel so it didn't stir up any more controversy while he looked into it. And so I agreed with him. So I know that they've had even me remove some things for the benefit of their case. And of course I complied because at the end of the day, we're trying to find this child. And I'm not going to go against the request. If it's a reasonable request, I will comply. If it's an unreasonable request, I'll have to, weigh the options and what my decision is. But this was a easy decision to make, to remove that post and let them look into it. So that's what I did. So I want to say in part, I believe that law enforcement has not told them as much as he's been using and propping them up as his excuse for not answering questions. Now we can go back and look at what questions he didn't really want to answer that he lied to the public about being told not to say something about, and whether that does apply. I'd also like to get into some conversations about best practices for crime scene assessment, and we'll be going through that because we have some extensive knowledge from the cases that we have studied and watched a trial. Alec Murdaugh, I like to prop up on Alec Murdaugh because he had all the twists and turns and all the legal challenges in his case. And his was obviously, they did have the bodies, but there was no witnesses to the case. And this case was truly a forensic data trail case. There was no eyewitnesses. What solidified the fate of Alec Murdaugh was all the electronics and what the electronics said. That's what sealed Alec's fate. If he was not out at those kennels, and he was not out at those kennels with his cell phone, and his son wasn't trying to take care of a friend's dog and taking a clip, it was all digital. The evidence was all digital. And I'm hoping that this case is much like that. The area has good infrastructure with internet in the Hendersonville area, but on the outside of the Hendersonville area, it does get a little sketch. And that does deter. And again, I've been every time I get a chance to bark at Bill Lee, I like the guy. But every time I get a chance to bark at him on X, I do. I bark. So there were a couple emails I wanted to read before I let you go, because this is just a little thought. One of our audience members noticed that, and it's Andrea, have you noticed that in the interviews with KP and CP, they use past tense when referencing to Sebastian? So we're going to have to pay attention to the past tense references of Sebastian, such as he loved versus loves. he was instead of he is. We need to start paying attention to those because Andrea believes that they're using it a lot. Now, here's one from Eminem, and this kind of got in my head a little bit because it's a great question. In this interview, they talked about how Sebastian knows his way to Clarksville. It's from yesterday's program show. CP says Seth tells him they are going this way and that way to get there. Wonder how he knows the details. Like, did he ask Seth about their ride to his house, or does CP know because he's bugged his truck? CP seems to know everything that goes on when he isn't even present. Then KP said she just wants her baby home and says 2 times that she doesn't know where he is. 2 times to try to convince the audience of her sincerity. So naturally, I think she knows exactly where Sebastian is. I noticed too, they both find themselves too happy during the interviews, catch themselves and try to look distraught. So a lot of people are seeing this. This is not Bullhorn Betty's statements. These are people that are watching and paying attention's statements. All right, guys, you make it a great day. We will be back at 5 o'clock. Prepare for an hour and a half to 2 hour live. If I can't constrict this live that I have ready for this afternoon in that 2 hour window, then we'll do a different show and we'll save that topic, the Nancy Grace and the Smiley Stories World interview for tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Okay. So I'll try to get it to work. If I can't get it to work in the time frame, we'll go to a different topic and probably shorten it down to about an hour versus 2 hours. And then we'll save that for tomorrow morning. So it be here or be square. Tomorrow morning, we've got a lot to go over as we're breaking the case of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers down and covering other breaking news cases. I try to find things that I think you guys would be very interested in learning. We even talk about, like yesterday, I was letting people know, and everybody needs to know since we have more people in chat today, everybody needs to know that there is a measles outbreak going on in Texas. If you live in Texas, please be vigilant, wash your hands, do whatever you need to do, stay away from people. I don't know much about measles. I would love to tell you I'm an expert on measles, but I'm not. I don't know how they're contracted. I don't know how it's spread. So if you're in Texas, please research that information and keep yourself safe, healthy, and happy. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. But let's go over the sponsors of this show one more time. Thank you, Robin, for everything that you do. Governor Pincus, Lisa Ann, Yo Mama, Melanie gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, don't forget to tell Melanie as well as Robin. Thank you for that gifted membership. Justin, thank you so much. Tennessee is a strange place. That is absolutely true. And Ginger's girl, it's nice to see you. I didn't even say hi to you this morning. Good morning, Ginger. States Sebastian strong in prayers. So, guys, thank you so much for being here. I hope you guys got something out of it, learned a little new information. Maybe you can help out in the missing person cases that we have. And please say a prayer for the case we ran yesterday of Steve Casper. They did find him. He's no longer with us. He went to go meet with the Lord, and his family is grief-stricken, as you can imagine. So please keep them in their prayers. I know a lot of people have been dealing with a lot of loss and everything like that in their life, and I can definitely understand the pain that goes along with that. So, maybe just an act of kindness today would be great. We do these acts of kindness in honor of certain things. We've been doing acts of kindness in honor of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Now we should just do an act of kindness just to support the missing, the people that are missing, we want to bring home. Just remember, everybody has their own walk in life. We don't know who's in good shape and who's not in good shape. So just keep your prayers and keep your God's armor on and strong, and keep working at it as much as you can. You know, prayer does move mountains. All right, guys, have a great day. God bless you, and we will see you soon.
From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We've brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you. God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims.